From ancient Chinese medicines to Native American rituals, this plant has its spot in the history books. Hey y'all, it's Short and Stoned here, but if you're new, you can call me Kelly. I'm a canna advocate, medical patient, and solventless foods entrepreneur. And on today's episode, I'm gonna be letting you know why the term marijuana is racist. If you consume tree, you should know its racist history. Happy Black History Month, people, and I'm here to break down how marginalized communities are often disenfranchised because of the war on drugs. Cannabis's history is much more than just about the plant itself. Its history is rooted deep in racism, propaganda, and social injustice. Today, we're going to explore how these forces shaped the perspective on cannabis. Let's talk about its arrival into the United States. First, you gotta know, historically, the first communities that utilized cannabis were the Chinese, and they have been using it for hundreds of thousands of years. From ancient Chinese medicines to Native American rituals, this plant has its spot in the history books. But more recently, in the 1900s, cannabis has become associated with Mexican immigrants arriving in the US after the Mexican Revolution. This is when the fear-mongering began. There were claims that cannabis led to violence and social unrest. But who can we pinpoint that really rose the uptick in the racism fueled by the cannabis divide? Well, you can thank our not-so-lovely infamous friend, Harry Annslinger, the first Bureau of Narcotics Commissioner. He weaponized racism to outlaw cannabis. I can't think of a worse person. He claimed it caused insanity, violence, and interracial relationships. Oh my gosh, so awful. I said sarcastically, to be clear. A narrative deliberately targeting Black jazz musicians and Mexican immigrants.
Debauchery, violence, murder, suicide, and the ultimate end of the marijuana addict. Plague bastard. Hopeless insanity. See this important bill now, before it is too late.
Fun fact, in the 1920s, there were hashish bars all across America, in New York to LA, and they called them cannabis bars. But when Mexican immigrants started bringing over the plant and people of color started utilizing them at primarily Black jazz clubs, it became such an issue that Harry Annslinger decided to dub cannabis used by people of color marijuana to fearmonger people. Because while the whites were in their hoity-toity hash bar, they're causing social unrest fueled by racism, and they want to say cannabis is causing all this. It's the people in charge, fear-mongering. But I digress. Oh my gosh, I'm getting off script. I just ad-libbed all of that. I just had to dump it out for you because it's crazy. There was even the Marijuana Tax Act of 1937, a key year in cannabis. This marked the beginning of criminalization, and this disproportionately affected minority communities because it was only ever a problem when it got people to commingle in between races because it brought people together. And guess what the government wants us to do? Divide. Alrighty, but let's fast forward to the 1980s and the ever so glamorous war on drugs. This campaign only further escalated injustices. What always grinds my gears is how Black and Latina communities are disproportionately affected despite white middle-class communities consuming the same amount. Research has shown. Luckily today, there are campaigns, legislation, and companies like the Last Prisoner Project that are trying so hard to undo the harmful and detrimental effects of the war on drugs, but the scars of history remain. And that's why I'm getting on here as a little white girl trying to educate you people, and hopefully you listen to me and the history. But remember, think for yourself and do your own research before coming to conclusions. This is the real history they weren't teaching you in the textbooks in school, right? We love whitewashed history, y'all. The history of cannabis isn't about the plant at all. Honestly, the history of cannabis is about the people it has affected, whether that be positively through healing cancers or negatively through black men sitting in Louisiana in jail for having 2 joints versus a millionaire in California sitting in his mansion off of selling the same thing. Ugh, I could go on a rant. And that's why I am such a strong advocate for this plant and for who it's affected and how it's affected. So please, this Black History Month, please reflect on the privilege you have to openly consume, no matter where you are. This plant has such a strong history rooted in social injustice, and we must never forget that, no matter how forward we move in positive legislation and positive reform. Only you and I can actively work towards a more equitable future, and I see it. I believe in it. All right, y'all, I hope I gave you some food for thought today. If you learned anything new, please make sure to throw it a thumbs up and subscribe so we can keep learning and elevating together. I love unveiling the true history of this plant. It's so nuanced. There's so many layers to it, like an onion. And hey, maybe hit the bell icon so you never miss when I upload. If you're curious about my type of content, my previous upload was a Super Bowl for the Super Bowl. Go Birds, we won. And my next upload will be how you can use canna products to enhance your bedroom time. And hey, if you have any questions or you want to keep the conversation going, please make sure to comment down below. I'm a newer channel, so I'm gonna message back to every single one of you. Wanna test it out? I post full-length YouTube videos every Thursday through Saturday at noon MST, and I upload Instagram original shorts every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So I guess I'll be seeing you real soon. Peace. And if you didn't hear it yet today, if you consume tree, you gotta know it's racist history. All right, I appreciate you for sticking this far and learning something. Bye.